Welcome, everybody.
Hi there.
Hi.
So thank you for your patience. We had some technical stuff to sort out, and welcome to Conscious Kids. Summer more than ever before. What are you gonna do with your kids, or better, what are they gonna do with you?
Okay, so you can, each time you have a question about something, and we can go there and just unmute yourself. And if you are on the Dutch line, you can text something. And okay. Oh, I was pretending to read Dutch, and there was, oh, yeah. Okay, and so it's summer, and it's for the grow up people the lightness moment in the year, because you are not busy with your work, and at least in Italy, we used to have maybe from 2 to 3 months of vacation, and after maybe as you grow up with the jobs and everything, you can have maybe 2 weeks, something like that, but still be precious time to do something really special with just a few, just a little bit of expectation about the best summer ever you can create, and suddenly you have a kids, and everything changed.
Yes.
So
we're gonna introduce ourselves, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
All right. So my name is Chiara, and I am a biological mom of 3. They're 10 to 5-year-old, and that's it. So my experience is a classical or regular mom experience. The dad has not been living with us for quite a few years. He's a professional athlete, so I have a very common single mother experience. And then along came
Danilo. I'm Danilo. Hi, nice to meet you. And I'm not biologic, not naturally, father of 6, and they are cats. So we kind of put together 2 different families. I used to live with animals, especially cats, and I had up to 7. Now they are 6, and kind of me and 6 cats, Chiara and 3 kids, and we choose to create something totally different. Yeah, so we put together our energies, and we saw a different space. The kids are exposed to access and the tools since I was saying since they were born, but actually, before they were born, because if you want to say something about this, Chiara, you find the bars when you were pregnant of Martin, the second one. So yeah. Do you want to say something about this?
Well, actually, I have a very similar experience as Dane and Brendan had with the access bars. And it was just basically reading a pamphlet that says, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, try the bars. And so I was like, yeah, I will. And then I just, I was writing my thesis for my university, and I crashed on the message table and received the bars. And it made me way more like present in the work I was doing and present with my first kid. So I used them. They were a quite pragmatic tool to get my work done. And then a little sneaky piece came along, and it's the piece of receiving. And we had recently have been completing or starting a project about the bars at school. So there's tools in the schools, in the regular institution. And kids have really shown me throughout my life how you cannot not receive from your creation. Like, you run bars to the kids and your whole world changes, and you cannot avoid it. It's just stronger and wider than anything. And I do really like to play with kids. They don't make things significant. They're so quick. There is a lot of telepathic communication going on. And so I just really wonder, what would it take to go out of everything we have been taught with summer and entertaining and expectation, and get these 2 months gone? Because the most common paradigm, and I don't know about you guys in the Netherlands, but in Italy, we meet people in the streets and they're like, we made it, we survived all summer till here, we're going to survive this summer again. And I was like, oh my gosh, since your point, you really, your point of view creates your reality. So with the survival point of view, what reality are you creating really? A survival mode kind of reality. So everything we have been doing to feed that point of view, what else is possible that we have not considered? What if this summer was the most enthusing, creative, nurturing summer of your whole life? And what if you could include your kids in the creation of that? So everywhere this is an alien, super foreign concept, can we just return that to sender? And everything we have been buying from our culture, our family, our past, can we destroy and uncreate that?
Right or wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, online, short, voice, beyond.
What is that? What have you just said? That's
What's
a
that?
weird things to say.
I said, right or wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, online, short, voice, beyond.
Oh,
This is the same but faster, and I can do also faster. Right or wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, online, short, voice, beyond. Actually,
and that's how it sounds like for people that hear it for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this gibberish thing?
Yeah.
It's the clearing statement from Access Consciousness. You can go and look it up if you never had like bars or any kind. You haven't started this conversation yet. You can go to the theclearingstatement.com and you will get more information. And it's basically a sentence that clears up all the energy that comes up after a question. So, for example, how much have you been making yourself smaller than your kids or than your parents? And there is an old energy that comes up. Can you feel that? It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, and you maybe think about your past summers and you did what it was supposed to happen in summer, or I don't know, how the judgment of your parents always kind of crush what you would have liked to create in the summer, or whatever that is. So everything that energy is, you just sweep it away. Just allow that to come up, and instead of making it solid and try to understand it, you say, wow, everything that is, I destroy and I create it. And destroy is basically when you destroy everything that you created so far based on that, and uncreate is take out your creative energy and allow it to go anywhere else where it would be more nurturing or more generative for you. So, summer and kids. Is there anything you guys would like to know? Do you have kids? Do you work with kids? What would you guys like to know? Because we have 10,000 places we'd like to go. But we would really like to know what would be interesting to you.
If nobody has a question, I have something that I would like to ask. So I'm not a mom. I'm an auntie of Lola, who is 7 or 8 years old. She is a huge super trooper. She is judged and projected a lot because she's very different from most kids. And then you have my nephew, who is 13 years old, and he's very different. He is very he likes to hide away in his room and play games and stuff. And I have like this thing where I feel a lot guilty, and I know it's a distraction plans, and I haven't really gotten to it, like what's right about it. It's like I don't really have a connection with the oldest one. And I sort of get like he doesn't really like want to have anything to do with me. And I think it might be the projections and judgments that he picks up from his parents on me. And then the same with Lola. I always feel like I'm not being enough for her. And yeah, so yeah. Right. What can I do? What else can I do here or be here?
Yeah. So can I just, everywhere you are judging you and the relationship you had so far with these nephews of yours, can we destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right and wrong. Like, you know what? When we are like, when we get to create something, being a business project or relationship or whatever that is, we often get to a moment where we start judging what we've been creating, and that destroys the whole process. So everything we nurture into existence and then judge, and in judging and in so doing, destroyed and annihilated. Can we destroy and uncreate that? Everywhere it's not enough, everywhere we are not enough, everywhere it's not fast enough, or it's not showing up the way we would like to show up, can we destroy and uncreate it? All the results we have in mind, all the calculation and computation we do have in mind of how it has to show up.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, put and fuck, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Because one thing I know with kids, it never, like the golden rule is it never shows up the way you think it will. But never, never, like really never. You get the formula to get them to sleep, like you think you get the formula to get them to sleep. And then they do it on day 1 and they do it on day 2. So you figure they will do it on day 3.
When you are really busy and
What,
you
exactly.
have the perfect formula.
And you're praying to all your gods and you're like, oh my gosh, I finally found it. That's how it goes. It's baby bath, it's lullaby time, it's rocking and rolling, and then I walk on my left sleep for a little bit, and then I hush him to sleep, and he will sleep, and I will be, and they don't. Like, the only rule is no rules with kids, and being them teenager or little kids, like.
Yeah, and how much this is an invitation as an adult to follow the energy, and not stay in the logical construction, in the order of the creation, but just following the energy, because nothing is the same as yesterday, as this morning, and actually a lot of conversation that we can have with kids when there is something that is an energy of compression for us as adults is uh, when we are not willing to play with kids as we can, it's just asking question is a way to play, what is required here. And if I turn this on my advantage, what can I say?
Yeah.
And also another thing is what the invitation, which one is the invitation here that I'm not willing to receive?
I love that.
Okay, I saw in the chat Kim, and she wrote, I have 2 kids, 8 and
1.5.
1.5 years old. And they can be so demanding. What can I do or be to have more ease with that? Yeah, what they are inviting you to be. There is something that to me it's really a big contribution in this life, is that living with Chiara and I was starting from the middle, but it's not logical in my point of view. So I was starting with Martin, that is, I was doing a list, but not for starting from
crew. Chiara and the crew.
Yeah, Felix, Martin, and Leon, is that I'm not the father in a biological way, so I don't have so many expectations on them, and I can see things with less filter. Let me use this expression, with less filter, and this allows me often to see the things like they are. So without projections, without expectations, without anything. It's kind of, yeah, are you crying? Yeah, this is not working with me. And they stop.
And one tool that I would really recommend, we're going to try really hard not to give you 10,000 tools and not confuse you into oblivion, But one tool that I really love with my kids, and any kids really, and I love that Evie, when you were talking about your nephews, I had a similar experience with my cousin at one point, that are quite grown up, and they were living in Paris, which is a big metropole. And when I was going to visit them, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I might be boring them to that maybe they don't really want to spend time with me. They're teenager, they don't care. And I was like making myself smaller than what could have been possible with them, than what we could have created together. And one tool that I love and I recommend, and also for you, Kim, is really, what would it take every night to destroy and uncreate everything your relationship with your kids was? Because if you're willing to be like, okay, everything today has been great and amazing, or not that amazing, I destroy and uncreate it. And in that way, what you allow yourself to do is, you're not looking at functioning from the past and, pick up the distress you had yesterday, or the fight, or, project that since yesterday was amazing, today needs to be amazing again. But you're willing to start with a blank canvas every day. You're like, wow, thank you for today. I destroy and uncreate our relationship. What's next? Now, what are we up for creating that we've never been willing to create before? And it's so interesting because when people destroy and uncreate, there is a bit of a moment where people would like to hold on to, especially if you had a great day, like with toddler, they're so freaking cute, and you had the best, I don't know, adventurous and cuddly days, and you're like, oh my gosh, and so happy. And then destroy and uncreate it, you're a little bit like, oh no, I don't want to destroy and uncreate it. I want that to go on forever. But if you're willing to take everything that was and destroy and uncreate it, it can grow even bigger. What if change is for greater? And we're not, I know it's a weird thing to say, but like, what if change can always be to exponentialize what has been great today? What additional greatness can you have when you're willing to be on top of your awareness instead of prepared, aware? So everything that brings up, and everywhere we're creating separation and be like, oh my gosh, no, I am not sure I can do that, or I want to do that. Can we just try and uncreate it and just allow that to be? Right and wrong, good and bad, pour un pacte night shirts by Beyonce. Oh my gosh, there is a long question. Can I read it?
Yes, please.
Isabella's asking, I love that. I'm mom to two boys, 8 and 11. What about summer, time, and choice? I kind of struggle with my control over their choices. Do we let them choose to eat ice cream every hour just because they're bored?
Oh, it's not.
It's not the final question. Or because it's a special time and special treats are allowed more often? Is it enough to introduce them to a question, what will this create for you? As it doesn't seem to work. They don't seem to care that they might need a dentist in a week, for example.
I think this is a good question for you, Chiara.
It's an awesome question. I just spent an obscene amount of money in dentist. And it has created quite a bit of awareness, I must say. And I do have a question for you, Isabella. Are you willing to be the worst mom on the block?
What do you mean?
Like, there is a little bit of projection on summer of what you're supposed to do, because special treat, special time of the day, and there is also the underlying sense of guilt in many parents that work, that this is the moment you can spend with your kids. You might as well, take the ball and get playing, not let it go, So everywhere, summer is the perfect reason and justification for you to get out of the equation with your kids in favor of special treats, special time. Can we destroy and uncreate it? And also, how much presence is possible with special treats and special time? So everywhere we are creating the polarity of being very hard and demanding with our kids, or being very much like in allowance and cuddling and allowing them to choose whatever they want. So everywhere we have created the polarity of consequences. Can we destroy and uncreate it?
Right or wrong, good and bad, podem pakon na short pause.
Yeah. Special time is the best special treat for them, I guess. Go. I hear
Yeah,
something.
there is something here, and you know, kind of, you can put rules, and like Chiara said before, you create something and it works for maybe 1, 2 days, 1, 2 times, and after you have to create something different. And actually, what's behind this? You empower the kids. Okay, you invite the kids, your kids, to receive something, and they are asking something more or just something different to learn. So when you are empowering your kids or a kid around you, you are creating a totally different future. And this is a big point about acknowledging you. So when you are acknowledging what you are creating with the invitation that you are, by being you, you can have a lot of more ease. Okay, and there is something here to me about the willingness to empower the kids, that is not the energy of rules, is not the energy of things fixed, is a lot of the energy of question. Because something that happened in my life, and I was already a grow-up boy or a little adult, and it's something that I realized that my family was protecting me from the outside. And this kind of protection was amazing, and in some way was not empowering me, because I felt safe, I felt loved, I felt a lot of things. And also I felt that I saw, when I went to the world, that I had to learn a lot of things by myself, because I used to be followed or protected, and yes, but let's do in this way, don't go fast with the car, don't. And this is actually an energy that is really all around the world, and is not exactly an empowering energy. And something that happens here, one day, for example, she was not at home and Martin did something and with the food. So he was having just a small snack, something like that, and all the shirt was dirty. And before having the snack, I invited him to be present with the food and not using the shirt as a napkin, and he was playing in this way with the shirt.
Which is hilarious, because I don't know why, like, you wouldn't guess, but 5 to 7 year old, at least my boys, they're like, this part of the shirt, it's so dirty. You're like, how come there's tomato sauce on your sleeves? And when I don't look, they're like, whoa, and it's like, oh my gosh, boys, here's, and this is a way what he's gonna say, which is, when the snack was over, Martin had to wash his shirt.
Yeah.
Because choice creates. If you're aware, if someone helps you to be aware that if you're gonna get dirty, then you will need to clean your shirt, then you will need to clean your shirt, and not from the space of consequence and being strict and being harsh, or telling them you want to experience. If mama tell you that, then you don't need to experience that. Mama's word is enough. No, it's just like, oh, perfect. you wanna get dirty. Now you need to wash your shirt. Perfect. Let's do that. It's a game. You get to learn something.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I was thinking about how much protection is the point of view that they cannot do it by themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, you can do whatever you like, and what would you like to create? And also one thing that I've been looking at for this summer, I'm just like sharing. We're all in summer. We all have little kids, and there is a common point of view of entertaining them or do something with the time you have somehow. Instead of having a creation time, there is a little bit of like 3 months to do something with. And also all the significance there is around summer. For example, if you don't go in holidays, where do you go in holidays? With whom are you spending your holidays? You're not going in holidays? Oh my God, poor you, you know? All these things, can we just destroy and uncreate it? All the significance around holidays.
Yes, please.
Right
Right
or
or
wrong.
wrong, good or bad, podem, pakon, nine shorts, boys beyond.
And one thing I've been asking quite a bit is, what can I add to my life? What can I add to my parenting that I never considered before? And instead of, hold time, summer as, okay, 3 months of almost nothing and then back to work. Like September as a little bit this energy of like, okay, we spent time, you might have done something, now is the time to get back to work. As if in summer they wouldn't learn something. I remember last year, Leon was 4 and he knew all the star constellation in the sky because he had an app on my phone and he was pointing it to the sky. And then after one day, it was like, oh my gosh, this is Virgo, this is Leo, this is whatever, Orion. And I was like, my gosh, you're learning quite a bit without a structure. You're learning a lot. And, I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Anyway.
Yeah,
it was really long. Yeah.
That's the space to answer to Isabella on the chat. And Isabella, you already have a great question. What are the questions we can give them so they are being more aware of what they are choosing and what they are creating? This is a question. It looks like you're amazing self-facilitator.
She's great at question. Have you seen? Well, I must say that Kim is also like, how much, she was asking, oh my gosh, we have quite a bit of questions. I haven't seen them. What can I be or do to have more ease with that? And I would add, Kim, what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can I be to have total ease and clarity with all of this for all eternity and with total ease? Because clarity brings us to the space where we expose everything, even the things we're not willing to see. So for example, your sons are being demanding. Okay, what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can I be to have total ease and clarity with all of it? And clarity is quite a brave addition to a question, because it's like, wow, everywhere I'm hiding myself from that awareness I destroyed and created. Everywhere I'm hiding that awareness from me, I destroyed and created. And it's a great question. And actually, one thing I wanted to mention about adding stuff that will create more ease is during summer, at least in Italy, the idea is time stops and then it will go, it will start again in September. And for me, instead, summer is that moment where we get to connect a little bit more. And what can we add as also very pragmatic aspects, like, for example, learning to read the clock of what time is it, so what we're doing. And we have here, I don't know if you can see it, there is a blackboard, and there is a time schedule for when we were leaving for the mountainside. So it was like, we're gonna prepare our luggage for the holiday, and then there's this time where you can do whatever you like, and then we're gonna eat, and then and there was a little bit of planning, which sometimes is required because it will get your life more organized and your kids will know what to expect, and sometimes is not as required. So you really need to be willing to be on top of your questions with that. So what can you add can be like, I don't know, self-dressing for little kids, or learning to see what time is it, or cooking. There are gazillion of recipe with like no gas that your kids can learn to do by themselves. You know, what if that is the moment to empower them to become adult of consciousness? And adult of consciousness is something we're going to talk about for sure. Maybe not now, but what if you could invite your kids to become adult of consciousness? And an adult, the difference between a kid and an adult, that he can really go out there and take care of himself and change the world. So he's not dependent anymore. He can have all the wonder, he can have all the magic, and also get stuff done. You know, create a business plan, or have relationship with people, or, you know, you can move on in this world. So everywhere we are avoiding to be adult of consciousness, can we destroy and uncreate that?
Right or wrong, good and bad, pod and pockle, 9 short boys beyond.
Yes.
I saw a question from Kim. Can I ask a question? Is the question. And yes, you can ask a question. And
there's something from Bianca before.
Yes,
so
and
we will
let me also add as information that we are already in the last 5 minutes of this Zoom.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay, can I ask a question then?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, the thing is with my kids that I notice that they are demanding, but I also notice that I'm so aware of my kids around me that I already know what they are needed before they are asking it. So I created a space that I'm always in working for them, totally being in demand for them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Can I just ask you something, Kim? Are you in service or off service?
I'm in service always. That's what that makes me feel. And like, okay, the holidays are coming up. Like, okay, I have to be in service for my kids all day, because if they're crying, or if I notice they have any lack of something, I'm already within a split second with unconsciousness. I'm already handling, doing, like helping, like everything they need. I will fix it already before they notice they have a problem.
So I would ask you a very bold question. Allow me, if I may.
Yes, please do.
Are you willing to give up everywhere you are the source for your kids?
Or I'm willing to give up, and then?
Are you willing to give up everywhere you are the source for your kids?
Yes, please.
Yes, everything that does not allow that, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts by them.
And it's so deeply, because when you already did mention it, I feel it in my whole body. When my kids are crying or whatever, my body, it's like I'm dying because they are crying. And I can, in my head, I know, okay, it's not that bad, but my body is like, I have to save them because they will die if they were crying. It's so deep inside of me, and it's like a pattern that I have to fix it.
It is amazing. I would just like to just take a step back. You were talking about telepathic communication, awareness beyond word. And
yeah.
I would really love you for just a second to stop and ooze in that awareness. You're aware of your kids before they even start asking for something.
Yes, I'm already awake when at night, before they're going to cry. I'm already awake, like, okay, 2 minutes, and then it's crying. And yes, I already know what they need before it's possible.
Yeah. So would you claim and own and acknowledge what an expanded big ass awareness you have?
But it's not always serving me.
Yes, and like that's the piece. Now we go into judging that instead
Yeah.
of like, oh my gosh, whoa, I know, I know. My knowing is so big. It's
Mm-hmm.
right before it happens. It's expanded in space and time. You can also like your kids could also be sleeping to their grandma, and you would wake up anyway. Would you
Yeah.
trust that? Yeah, right. So
Mhm.
everywhere you made that. Right or wrong, can we destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Right and wrong written by Paul nitrates within us. That happens a lot with capacities we have, and we turn them like, oh my gosh, is it useful? Or it only happens when they have something wrong going on. And
Mm-hmm.
what if you can turn it up instead of dimming it down? Because when it happens and it's just because, I don't know, they fall or they're fighting for a toy or something, then what happens most likely is you get annoyed. You're like, oh my gosh, something's going to happen again. And you're like, all right, what's now, And it's not as fun. But like, what is the gift in that? And I also would like to ask you what beyond this reality acknowledgement can you be for one another? You for your
Mm-hmm.
and your kids for you.
Yes.
And there is a lot, and we're gonna have like, there are these like whole day classes coming up, and there is a lot of things we have not necessarily looked at with our bodies and how connected we are with our kids. And not from a space of significance. In Italy, the significance is huge. It's like you say, blood of your blood, flesh of your flesh. And it's like, you get the Italian kick of it. But like, what beyond this reality awareness you and your body have that you might have never given yourself permission to fully have? Wow. Wow.
I really think that
That
is
doesn't allow that totally, fully, and exponentializely. Can we destroy and create that?
right or wrong doesn't matter for them poco nine shot was beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I realized after coming here and living together with Chiara and the kids, I thought that advanced classes were, strong classes, strong change. And after I started living with Chiara and 3 kids, and living with 3 kids is kind of advanced class and telecall and everything each day. So is something that is really a great invitation for us to step up and also acknowledge ourselves and the contribution that kids are.
Yeah. What, I'm so sorry. I know you have more, but I was just asking, what gift of intensity are your kids being for you that you might be shutting down instead of turning up the volume?
Yeah, I had for 2 or 3 weeks the implant band running kind of fire. I was thinking I was almost right to die, something like that, because my head was a torch, a human torch, and I was all day long, and was there are not bars that are required here, and actually bars are one of the main contributions so far for what I saw for the relationship with kids. And there are also a lot of information about this in the new bars class and in the new bars video that Gary Dane did. And gift and receiving bars with your parents, as a son or daughter, or your kids, is a great contribution for all the things that we saw today and all the questions that we had in the chat. And I think you want to address the last one.
Yes. I don't know if it's going to be the last one. We might do something else, but like Bianca is asking, I have 2 daughters, 4 and 2. And with both is a problem if I go away. For example, if I have to work and bring them to school, then the drama is bringing them away. Or in the evening when they have to go to bed, mainly the oldest, when I go dancing or working, it's drama. What question can I ask? Every time I ask, oh, does it get any better than this? Or I ask questions, but I don't get a clear answers. I love that question, and I have some
just
stuff up my sleeve that I
let
can
me
play with.
say something before your reply. We spent a few days last week in the countryside, actually in the mountains, and Chiara had to run for a job for 2 days earlier than what we planned. And so I was there with the kids, and you know, all the things during the day, all the times together during the day, because they are going in a summer camp during the day. So in the breakfast, in the lunch, and evening and night, everything was different, totally different, and the energies, they were totally different. And so something that they choose to put with Chiara, and the conversation that they have with Chiara, with me, are totally different. So one big question here for me is which point of view I have that it's creating this.
And not to go into the wrongness of you at all. It's just looking at you with like, it's really be willing to go into interesting point of view. For example, when we make their upset reel, and that is not for Kim as well, when she feels the intensity of, you know, the pain of whatever, when they fall and they get, I don't know, a knee scratch or something, and she feels it in her body, and then she sees and she's like, okay, you know, I don't know, the puppet has fallen from the bed, they're not dying or anything, it's okay, it's something, but you feel it with such intensity in your body. So everywhere everywhere you go so dynamically into their word, and it all becomes a problem instead of a possibility. Can we destroy and create that?
Yes, please.
Right and wrong, good and bad, but I'm talk all night, short, but beyond. And one thing I really played with that I love was making like role playing with my kids. At one point, one of them didn't want to go to kindergarten, the younger one. And so I was playing the same thing. I was like, I don't want you to go to kindergarten. I really don't want you to go to kindergarten. I need to go home and work on my own. What am I going to do? He was looking at me like, you're crazy. And I was just doing the whole scene. I was turning up the volume and be willing to be the kid that was helpless and ask my kid to solve the problem. I was, mirroring what he was doing with me. When they're desperate, you tried that? How was that gone? How was it? Because that's one thing that really, okay, and I just want to say that that's something that is irrational, unpredictable, and not linear. They don't expect that. And also, and that's one key thing about parenting that I love, that makes me so happy, is you really need to outsmart your kids every day. Meaning, they think they know how things are going. They have a sense of how things are going. How much fun can that be to change the cards on the table and be like, you know what? You think you're going to be upset with me, but this morning I am upset with you. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to leave you. My belly is hurting. I want to stay and play. What am I going to do? Let them be in charge. Let them, this is one.
No, but it's the day I have the pool. It's not good for me. Let's choose another day to be sad. Mom.
No, I want to come to the pool with you, Annie, and I want to come with you, and I don't want to go away, and I cook you an amazing snack. I want to eat it with you. I want to stay with you forever. No. Are you going to pee? I'm coming with you.
No, I want to go to the kindergarten. Please, drive me there.
And what energy, space, and consciousness can you be to be as annoying and demanding as your kids with total ease? And how much fun can you have? Because if you made it so far with this call, you now have the permission to go and play with your kids and annoy the hell out of them with total ease. And it's something you can do. No one told you, because you are thought to be the parent and the adult. And so there's a lot of structure and there's a lot of playfulness we cut off by being parents. But you do have the permission to drive them nuts. How much fun can that be? They will drive you nuts. Like, if they're not doing it now already, when they're teenager, they will drive you nuts. I promise. My 10-year-old kid is already like, can I go with my friends in the center? And the center in the mountainside is like nothing at all. It's like, can I go and can I have money because I need to buy, I don't know, an ice cream and do stuff? And I'm like, oh my gosh, already it's starting. And it's okay. Yes, sure you can. And sometime on Saturday morning, I will go and have breakfast outside and you will stay at home. Like, and it's okay. And it's not a revenge. It's just that predictability is not our best choice as parents, really.
Yeah.
But I love that you tried, Bianca. What else? And
Don't try, do it.
Yeah. And how much fun can you have with that also? Because, like, really, when we get into their universe and it's a problem and we make solid the abandon energy of like, oh my gosh, mommy's gonna wait, I'm staying here for, say, 6 hours in a row. And it's like, yeah, you're gonna stay here and what are you gonna do? Mountain bike and hike and like, what the heck? Like, seriously? So yeah, everywhere we go into their world and make things serious and significant, we destroy and create that.
Yeah.
They're master. They're gonna, if you don't outsmart them, they're gonna outsmart you with total ease. In Italy, we say they're gonna eat salad on your head, which means, you know, they're gonna take advantage of you. Are you willing?
And control you.
Totally. Are you willing to switch it the other way around?
Yeah, and you know, if something is not working, it's not that you are wrong. It's just not working that day, you know, and they, you know, you have to be willing to see the kids also when they are play as a hustle. They used to choose also this energy because they are really willing to play with all the energies that are around. And when they are using one kind of energy that is not contribution for all the people here, you have infinite choices, kind of, yeah, don't do this here. Please go away alone and scream and do whatever you want, but let's go away. It's not allowed to do that inside the home or bring this energy here. You know, and they also start to recognize and acknowledge the different energies. Yeah. So
we're gonna wrap it up. We still have so many things we'd like to talk about, but like, really, I love that. I'm just gonna say I love calling them when they're being assholes. It's such a gift.
Yeah.
What is
Also
your
for
most
them.
used questions for your kids? For me, is what do you know, which is a little bit, but it's really calling them up to be like, yes, what do you know? And what would you like to create? Because they, if you ask them, they will tell you. For example, Summer has this energy of not time, like this undefined, not really creation. Well, in Italy at least, around is a little bit like sleepy, lazy, but not creative, really. Like entertaining, but not creating. And we can talk about the difference, but maybe not now. So what would you like to create? What action can you take now that would create everything you like? And some parents do not ask that because they're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna be against me. And are you willing to have them expose themselves as they really are? Yeah, everything that does them not allow that. Right and wrong, good and bad.
And my favorite question is, what is required here? Yeah, because it's really an invitation to don't have fixed point of view about what I have to do, because they already know the fixed and linearity here. So it's not working. I know that, and they know that.
Yeah. And how much fun can you have?
Yeah.
And how much fun can you make it anything? How much fun, what energy, space, and consciousness and choice can I be to make that outrageously funny?
Yeah.
Which you can ask for anything really, but the kids are willing to use that. Are you willing to use that? You know? And yeah. So there are many, many questions. But
I have a question.
What question?
What next?
What's next? What's next? Evie, we have been planning into no prereq call, but we really haven't jotted anything down. So if there is anything you'd like to hear or use or know about the access tools and kids, we would really like to, open the door to.
We are facilitator conscious parents, conscious kids. So we will play with these tools and classes and telecalls about these. And we saw the contribution that tools are, and not just inside our family, but outside for the world. So this is a great topic to start and a great invitation. And we will
have something for sure about business and kids. There is such a generative, yummy energy in teaching the kids the steps of a business plan that I could have never imagined before. I will just tell you that we had to plan a baseball summer camp. They all play baseball, and so we were like, okay, let's organize 2 weeks, and I gave all of them a white paper, and we were just brainstorming, and the ideas they came up with were freaking brilliant. Martin was like, okay, I'm gonna use color, and I love it. He's a little bit OCD like his mama, so he was like, this one, the green is for kids between this age and this age, and then yellow, and then red, and then he was like, how old is grandma? How old are you? And I was like, 31, and they're like, okay, so this color is from 31 till 76-year-old. So he was doing the baseball camp for all age ranges, and he got till 96, and I was like, well, that's engaging a lot of person with that. And it was fun, but it was also opening to what do they see that I'm not seeing, that if I would see it would change my reality and all reality completely. So we're surely going to have something about business and what's next. Actually, hit us with your question, because we do use the access tools. They're so pragmatic with the kids, and all kids, not just the kids we live with, but the kids at school. You might see us soon in a BF call for the Bars at School project, but we're really wondering what's next. What tools can you give them, and what tools can we allow ourselves to use to create a future that is beyond this reality? So yes, I think that's it. Is there anything you'd like to add? Oh.
I think we will send something to you by email about the next possibilities about being parent and your kids. And please remember that all the kids are allowed, and not just allowed, but invited to be present during the calls and everything. So yeah, sometimes we have kids during the call, and they start to take the mic and they start to co-create the call, and the energy is always a contribution. So let's start with these. And
can I just say how Conscious Parents, Conscious Kids is really a celebration of imperfect parenting, and is really a celebration of you beyond what the expert has to say, beyond the rule and regulation of how you're supposed to bring up your kids the right or the best ways. It's really about you being you in parenting. Is allowing yourself to be as weird, as wacky, as aware as you truly are, and not judging yourself. Please, if you could consider one single thing from this call, I would really invite you to catch you when you're judging you and stop. And just say, what else can I choose now? And really, yeah. So that's all about conscious parents, conscious kids. Evie, is there something we want to add?
Thank you so much to begin with. And yes, I would say check us. Ik ben het even vergeten in het Engels. Hou ons in de gaten. Watch us. En we zullen nog heel veel verschillende dingen creëren die eraan komen. Onder andere verschillende thema's rond kinders en ouders. En en kom maar af ook nog met vragen. De klassen worden gecreëerd op vraag van. Dus als er vragen zijn of dingen zijn die jullie echt bezighouden, kom ze brengen. I don't know what, I couldn't got words in English, so I basically said that the classes are created with their questions if they have anything that they would like to expand more on, as you already offered, and they have to watch what's coming up next. So yeah, that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all your questions. Really, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have an amazing evening. We're gonna send you the recordings.
Yeah. So, bye-bye.
Bye.